The traditional Norton anthology, which is what you use for most surveys to 1860, give you Cabeza de Vaca. The wildly inclusive Heath has Cabeza de Vaca and Laudonnière, so you get a little bit of French. Anyway, the American survey is typically this mad dash from the native creation tales to Columbus. Then you get Pocahontas' rescue of John Smith. Then you have this quick shot from Puritans, Franklin, the Revolution. Then you get on to the good stuff. So change is afoot. There's attention to, in early American studies, to transatlantic crossings, hemispheric contexts, and a continuing fixation with frontier. See Jose Rabas's fantastic book, Writing Violence on the Northern Frontier. And these have the potential to displace this proto-nationalist theme and just tired narrative of Puritan exceptionalism. Just be done with it. Anyway, next May, the Society of Early Americanists will host its third Ibero-American Summit, this time in St. Augustine, with the theme of borderlands. Everyone should go. So a liminal region such as Florida, once peripheral to the field, now is the perfect venue to look at all of the hot topics. So what needs to be done? Thanks to decades of scholarship by historians who are in the room, some of whom they're with us, we have no shortage of text. There are definitive editions of the De Soto Chronicles and Cabeza de Vaca, Releno Adorno, and Charles Potts's edition, and they allow us to engage in deep comparative readings of exploration literature. There's scholarship by Gerald Milanich, Amy Turner Bushnell, John Hahn. They give us reliable versions of Francisco Pareja and Juan de Paiva. There's paperback volumes by the University of Alabama Press that allow us to treat the founding of St. Augustine as not just a contest between armies, but a contest between words. Still, key texts have fallen out of print. The Varner and Varner translation of La Florida del Inca, which is just a beautiful read. Jonathan Dickinson's journal is incongruously out of print. I could go on. Also, because the bulk of the scholarship has been historical and archaeological, the literary terrain has always fallen into neglect, and there are several key texts that need to be translated, edited, and made accessible. I always think of Juan de Castellanos, A la muerte de Ponce de Leon, all right, which is a poem that I'm convinced I would bet my next paycheck that if somebody translated it and gave a decent introduction, it would find its way into the anthologies. Bartolomé de Flores, Obra Nuevamente Compuesta, a 1571 panegyric to Pedro de Menendez. Again, it's accessible online, but someone needs to translate it, edit it, and prepare it. Nicolas Lechalu's 1566 Discours de la Florida. Also, Escobedo's epic. Why that is sort of obscure, it boggles the mind. Anyway, thanks to Psaki O'Sullivan and others, we have a good sense of Florida literature, but there's material need and market demand, I will insist on this, for, I'm going to say, an anthology even to 1840. Stop at the Second Seminole War. Toss in the texts that I've noted above, plus the usual suspects, lesser-known texts like John Howison's Florida Pirate, Betsy Pilot's diary, Mary Godfrey's narrative of the Second Seminole War, which again, no one seems to really pay attention to, and the various cameos that Florida makes in the Spanish literature of geography and natural history. And there you have it. You have a very, very solid volume. So, why hasn't this work been done already? Probably because translation, like editing, is thankless. All right, seed money might fund scholar-poet teams. Take as a model this splendid volume, Carvajo's Conquest on Trial, Indians in the Court of Death. Or you could, which is a great example. It's bilingual, facing pages. It's got a huge introduction. It has an imprint of the original. Here's what I would love to see some of that Golden Age poetry translated into. Or Thomas Christ's influential anthology Caribbeana, which is restored in early American studies, the primacy of the Caribbean in the British Atlantic world. A well-produced volume or web archive, as we've been saying, would close this gap between 1900 plus in Massachusetts and our 3 in Florida. It would restore the role of Florida in the colonial imagination, deepen public knowledge, and provide specialists in literary study with the primary materials they need to address precisely the questions that we are right now asking. Thanks.